Hey everyone, this is Gary Kay with Rave. We're here at the DSE 2022 show on the show floor with our studio here in Las Vegas. It's the first DSE show since 2019. There's a keynote going on, so not as many people walking by here right now. So I grabbed Dave Weinfeld, I think Seinfeld, but with a W, Weinfeld, from Screenverse Media to come in here and talk to us. Tell them, Dave, who Screenverse Media is.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. So Screenverse focuses on the media management and monetization of digital screens in the physical world. Yep. So essentially when you think of screens in bars and restaurants, yep, office buildings, luxury residential buildings, we're in a...
I need you to hold your mic a little higher. There you go, perfect, go ahead.
Is we focus on how best can you monetize those, and a big part of that is how best do you monetize that via the programmatic channel.
That's critical because I believe that the future of digital signage is programmatic. I don't think it's going to be successful unless it is programmatic, because these one-off, unless you're doing experiential. If you're doing experiential, that's a whole thing. But these one-off applications where the ecosystem is selling itself isn't going to work unless the media buyers actually have access to it in programmatic. So in your case, an example of that might be, and this is a small example, but you can maybe expand it or explode it from that. When you're in a bar and you're watching, when you're watching sports, the wrapper that's in there, is that being driven from programmatic potentially through Screenverse Media, or give me an example?
Yeah, so we actually have the largest network in bars and restaurants nationwide. That's our partner TouchTunes.
Yeah, okay.
So think 50,000 plus jukeboxes in every DMA across the US. So their core business is music, and they do an incredible job with it. But those endpoints are really valuable media real estate.
Because they're sitting there and people are staring at it.
And people are in those bars and restaurants for 60 to 90 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And our role in supporting TouchTunes as a business is how do we bring monetization by way of advertising to those screens? And so much of that is working with beer and spirits companies like Heineken, Anheuser-Busch, but the programmatic side and working with partners like Vistar Media, Place Exchange, allows us to access budgets that we otherwise couldn't have accessed.
Right, so meaning smaller budgets or bigger budgets?
Bigger budgets.
Okay, bigger budgets, all right. And are you working on collaborating to bring a bunch of different opportunities together? Because when you look at like individual business owners, they can't do this on their own. You're collaborating to pull them together, I'm guessing, into one network, and they're feeding the content to them all at the same time because you get more eyeballs as a collaboration than individually? Is that how that works?
That's exactly right. Okay. So we really look at it as a Screenverse universe.
Okay.
So a portfolio of networks who largely aren't media businesses at their core. So TouchTunes is a great example. We also have a partner, Pursuant Health, that is in every Walmart pharmacy nationwide.
Okay, I got you.
We have a partner called The Bulletin that has 2,000 plus screens in luxury residential. And you're right, it would be difficult for each of those networks to individually try to sell themselves to agencies, and then you get into the world of programmatic, where you have demand-side platforms like the Trade Desk and Google and others. And so what we're able to do is offer a single point of contact, incredible service, as well as that one unified point where you could access high-value curated inventory in a way that accelerates the monetization these networks could see. How
do they find you? Like, I mean, I'm a hospital, I just put in a big digital signage network. How do you even know that you exist? Like, I got to get lucky and somebody knows about the advertising industry, or is there a place that they register all these signs and you leverage that registration database, or how does this work?
Yeah, so great question. So one of the advantages when I started Screenverse is that I had led the supply-side sales team at Vistar Media for about 2.5 years. So I had an inside look at exactly what type of networks needed this support. So when I spun out of Vistar, I immediately said to their CEO, I'm going to be a client and partner. That's exactly what we are today, but it created that natural progression of networks within that ecosystem to find us. And the great thing is we get referrals from our friends at Vistar, our friends at Place Exchange. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful. But I also have to add the caveat that not every network is a fit, right? Really have to look at it and say, what's their scale? What's the business model? Do they have screens that are...
Like a single dentist office isn't going to work, but if you're part of a network, of hundreds of dentists, you got more eyeballs with it's all based on numbers, right? It's a numbers game.
It's numbers, value of network, it's the leadership team behind that network, understanding their capital structure, and in many cases, what's great is if the network itself is providing value to the property and the audience, and that's really delivering, then there's an opportunity to bring in monetization. And so what we really do, and for those networks that we don't partner with, we say no more than we say yes today.
Wow.
But for those networks we don't partner with, we give them advice and say, hey, when you're up at a larger scale or you've installed more screens, then let's talk again.
Keep registering them so that we have access to the database when the database is large enough.
That's right.
Yeah, and so you can check them out at screenversemedia.com, right? I get that right? Screenversemedia.com.
That's exactly right.
David Weinfeld, thank you very much for dropping by here.
Thank you, Gary.
If you want to learn more, go to screenversemedia.com. And that's a good reason for you to keep up with all these digital installs that you're doing, because you never know when you're going to have enough out there that you can take advantage of programmatic advertising, which is huge. So thanks for joining us. Of course, if you want to learn more, go to screenversemedia.com or go to raypubs.com and watch all of our digital signage Experience 2022 content.